Hello everyone, Ace here, and today I've decided to have yet another look at some video game history, and in the process answer the question, what exactly made Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly great? First released all the way back in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, before getting ported over to the Xbox and later on the Nintendo Wii, and alternatively known as Zero Crimson Butterfly and Project Zero 2 Crimson Butterfly, depending on which region you are from, Fatal Frame 2 is a true classic among horror games, and is often considered the best game in the Fatal Frame franchise. But to understand why this game is so well beloved, we must now look at what exactly made it great. And in the case of Fatal Frame 2, the answer is rather simple, as this was a case of the developers refining the ideas of the original Fatal Frame by keeping what worked and tweaking what could be improved. To deviate briefly on the subject of the original Fatal Frame, it is a great game in its own right and one well worth covering someday. However, it was also simultaneously far from perfect, with the level design being notoriously repetitive, and the gameplay having some issues, although not enough to of course prevent the game from, like I said, being a great game. Fatal Frame 1 was very much a case of a diamond in the rough, where the good things about the game easily outweighed the bad things about the game, but there were still very much bad things about the game. By contrast, Fatal Frame 2 was very much a refined diamond. The level design was vastly improved, the storytelling is improved, and the combat in the game sees a vast change, where instead of just holding your camera onto a ghost to charge up a shot and do more damage, instead your camera does more damage the physically closer you are to the ghost. For a horror game, this means that you are actively rewarded for the risk of the ghosts getting closer to you. And of course, when this game is a horror game, it also helps make the game scarier. And while I'm not sold on the idea of Fatal Frame 2 being the scariest game of the entire franchise, it is definitely effective at what it does. And the combat absolutely assists in making that possible. So ultimately, when it comes to what exactly made Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly great, I would ultimately have to say that the things that made the game great could all be summed up as refinements on the ideas laid out by the original Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame 2 may not have been the trailblazer and revolutionary title that its predecessor was, but again, taking those ideas and polishing them to a mirror shine absolutely made it not only great, but also one of the most enjoyable titles in the entire franchise. With that in mind, this has been Ace, and I hope you'll agree when I say that Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly is great.